This video is sponsored by Lexar. Lexar is an industry-leading storage manufacturer that specializes in different types of reliable memory cards, USB flash drives, SSDs, and card readers. Stay tuned to find out how Lexar can help you level up your smartphone storage. The Galaxy S20, S20 Plus, and S20 Ultra have officially been announced, and I was able to get some exclusive hands-on time with each device. In this video, I'm gonna break down each phone and let you know the differences. That way, if you're looking to upgrade this year, you'll know which one to get. What's up, everybody? My name is Jonathan Casey. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. This is a channel where I like to talk all things tech related. It doesn't matter if it's a camera, a smartphone, or a computer, chances are you're going to see it on this channel. I deliver content in a unique and interesting format, and I do it every single week. If that sounds good to you, go ahead and click that subscribe button. And while you're down there, enable notifications by clicking the bell icon so you can be alerted every time a new video drops. Let's kick it off with the Galaxy S20. The S20 starts at $999, which is quite expensive, and that's a theme that you're gonna see throughout this video. It comes with a 6.2-inch Quad HD Plus Infinity O AMOLED 2X display, which is a mouthful. It supports HDR10 Plus content and goes up to 120 Hz for smooth motion, but the 120 Hz can only be used in Full HD Plus, and this is across the board on all three models. Whenever you go into Quad HD Plus, it's gonna go down to 60 Hz. It's available in 3 different colors at launch, which includes Cosmic Gray, Cloud Blue, and Cloud Pink. All 3 models sport a new design that I'm a huge fan of. It's boxier with less of the curved edge screen, and I personally like that. This makes it a little bit more flatter on the front, which in my opinion is more comfortable to use. Also, there's no longer a dedicated Bixby button, just like on the Note 10. And for the people that use the 3.5mm headphone jack, Samsung has removed it from all 3 models. In terms of performance, we're looking at the Snapdragon 865 or the latest Exynos processor, depending on your region. It comes equipped with 12 GB of RAM, 128 GB of storage, and best of all, the storage is expandable via the micro SD card slot, which is going to be up to 1 TB. In fact, all 3 models have expandable storage, which is awesome. Plus, thanks to this video's sponsor, Lexar, you can quadruple your storage using their high-performance 633X series, which is suitable for 4K video with speeds up to 100 megabytes per second on the read and 70 on the write. The Galaxy S20 supports sub-6 5G connectivity, but of course this is going to come down to your carrier and whether or not you have the availability in your area. In terms of battery size, the S20 is packing a 4,000 mAh battery. This in theory should bring pretty decent battery life as long as you're not running the 120 Hz display constantly and pulling down data using the 5G connection for hours. The S20 comes with a 25-watt fast charger in the box and of course features fast wireless charging as well. Starting with the rear cameras, the S20 has a 12-megapixel 120-degree ultra-wide camera with an aperture of f2.2, a 12-megapixel standard wide camera with an aperture of f1.8, plus the largest pixel size I have seen on any smartphone at 1.8 microns, and lastly, a 64-megapixel telephoto camera with an aperture of f2.0. On the front, the S20 sports a 10-megapixel 80-degree camera with an aperture of f2.2, which seems to be pretty good. The S20 is capable of capturing 4K video up to 60 frames per second and 8K video at 24 frames per second. Of course, 8K video files are going to be significantly larger and require faster speeds than typical 4K, which is why I recommend picking up one of Lexar's 1800X V90 UHS-2 micro SD cards, which have speeds of up to 270 megabytes per second on the read and 150 on the write. These cards are a little bit more costly versus the 633X series, but in my personal experience, they're totally worth it. I'll leave links to both down below in the description, as well as a link to Lexar's website if you feel like checking them out. Also, I'll be diving deeper into the camera, especially the 8K video, so make sure you stay tuned and subscribe for that. And the last thing I want to talk about with the S20 is that it features a special 3x lossless hybrid optic zoom for long-range images and video, and it can go up to 30 times using digital zoom and AI software processing. Pretty incredible. Moving to the Galaxy S20 Plus, which starts at a whopping $1,199 and comes in Cosmic Gray, Cloud Blue, and Cosmic Black. It sports the same Quad HD Plus dynamic AMOLED 2X display, but slightly larger at 6.7 inches. Performance-wise, all of the internals are the same, except the S20 Plus can be bumped up to 512 gigabytes of storage. When it comes to 5G connectivity, the S20 Plus also supports sub-6, but additionally adds support for millimeter wave. The battery size has been bumped up to 4,500 mAh, which should put it on par with the S20, given the screen size increase. However, due to the millimeter wave support, this could possibly drain your battery a little bit more depending on how many times you're connected to a tower and how long you're connected to that tower. The rear camera array is identical in terms of specs. However, the S20 Plus adds a time of flight depth sensor on the backside. We'll have to see how much of a difference this is gonna make since the Note 10 Plus didn't offer much benefit at all. The front selfie shooter is also identical to the S20, as well as all of the in-camera recording formats, options, and just modes. Finally, we have the star of the show, which is the S20 Ultra. The price of this phone is definitely ultra. I mean, with a starting price of $1,400, how could it not be? It's available in Cosmic Gray and Cosmic Black. I'm surprised that these two colors are not made of ceramic, considering the massive price tag. I can't lie, I kind of find this to be a bummer and a little bit cheap on Samsung's part. The design is pretty much identical to the other two models, however the camera array is much bigger, which I'll explain why in just a minute. Plus, it's significantly thicker at 8.8 millimeters versus 7.8 on the S20 Plus. Not only that, but it's also heavier at 220 grams versus 186 grams on the S20 Plus. Internally, we're looking at the same exact specs as the S20 Plus with the additional option of a 16 gig RAM variant, which is pretty incredible. When it comes to 5G connectivity, like the S20 Plus, it supports sub-6 and millimeter wave. The battery size on the S20 Ultra has been bumped up to 5,000 milliamp hours, which is massive and makes sense now why this phone is heavier and thicker. Now, in theory, this should bring insane battery life no matter what you're doing. You could be 5Ging it all day or 120 hertzing your way all the way to the bank to pay off the loan that you took out for this phone. Like the other two models, the S20 Ultra has a 25-watt charger in the box. However, unlike the other two models, it also supports 45-watt charging. Unfortunately, the charger needs to be purchased separately and it's not going to be cheap, which again, given the price of this phone, is kind of ridiculous on Samsung's part. I don't agree with that. Camera-wise, things are definitely different. Starting with the backside, to go along with the much larger camera array, we have a large 108 megapixel main shooter that has an aperture of f1.8. The camera will dynamically switch between a high-resolution 108 megapixel mode and a 12 megapixel mode. When using the 12 megapixel mode, the camera processes the image using Nona binning technology, which compresses all 108 megapixels to a single 12 megapixel shot. It's basically a 9:1 binning process. The outcome of this is going to be improved detail, sharpness, low light performance, and richer colors. In fact, Samsung informed me that with the compression, it's going to be equivalent to a sensor with a pixel size of 2.4 microns, and on a smartphone, this is going to be incredible for low light photography. To go along with the new main camera, there's a 48 megapixel telephoto shooter with an aperture of f3.5. The wide angle on the S20 Ultra is identical to that of the S20 Plus and the S20, so no change there. Flipping the phone over, the S20 Ultra sports a 40 megapixel front-facing camera at 80 degrees and an aperture of f2.2. Just like the larger sensor on the backside, in theory, this should bring better looking selfies and live focus shots. To wrap this up, if you're looking to get the latest Samsung flagship and you just want an excellent camera, small form factor, good battery life, don't want to break the bank too much, and have a little bit of future proofing with sub-6 5G support, obviously, the S20 is the one to get. If you're wanting a bigger screen and have some extra cash to spend, I would skip the S20 Plus altogether and go for the Ultra. I know $200 is a lot of money, but when you break it up into monthly payments, $200 more is only like a $5 to $10 increase. Personally, with the way pricing is, I think the S20 Plus is going to be the oddball this year and the phone that I feel will sit on shelves the most. But what do you think? That's my opinion. Let me know down below. Is the S20 Plus actually the better phone, or do you agree with me? Let me know, and make sure to stay tuned for more S20 content, including a deep dive into the camera, S10 and Note 10 comparisons, plus I got a lot more planned. You're not gonna wanna miss it. I wanna give a huge shout out again to Lexar for making this video possible. Links to the micro SD cards that I mentioned in this video can be found below in the description. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribe for more videos like this, and I will catch you stupendous people in the next one.